Hey everybody, it's Mike with Monkey Fab. Long time no see, I know. I got it. Today, working on the Phoenix. It's been a while, and quick update. I've put in like a few tanks of E through it, and kind of like drove around on auto tune, and it is everything's good. Everything seems to be pretty well. No real big issues come to mind. I did so not real sure what's going on with the tune. It desperately needs a tune. That's something that is faux show. Man, I got this in here crooked as shit. I just drove this in here so we could put it up on the lift and kind of just run over everything. It's been a while since I've just checked on everything. I did, per one of the guys that might tune the car, I did do a timing. I just bent some 1/8 316 welding rod and marked the crankshaft there with some paint pen, and so radiator's working really great. You guys saw I put this on here with these little flappies that I've seen in the CTSVs, and I've also seen on my Volvo wagon has those, and this radiator's been working good. It's not been real hot, but yeah, I need to adjust that. And I just want to look over kind of everything. There is a leak from the transmission, but I think it's just the stupid plug that's in there, because it came with like a screw-in drain plug deal. And I would like to see what's going on with that, or it could just be where I've been filling it. It is like finally topped off where it needs to live at, and we'll kind of check, see what's going on with that leaky leak. There's a ticky tick. But I don't think it's like anything bad. I think it's just the exhaust, just an exhaust leak. And then on the inside, okay, up in the air, quick, just quick rundown. I just basically, did the eyeball everything, retightened all the V-band clamps and the exhaust bolts. They were right now. And got these clamps in here, and those two. There's one in the back, and then there's a little tiny one you can't see up there that goes to the up pipe. And I think that was kind of what's making the ticky tick noises. A little bit of oil here, but that's because I'm basically an idiot. I think I dumped my catch can. It was about halfway full, I'd guess, just mostly water, but there was a little bit of oil in it, and it made its way down here. The brakes are shit. What the hell? But and they're starting to complain. But this thing's getting the whole Corvette assembly, so I'm not worried about that. There's lots of little things that had some seepage on it that you can never tell if you got like a leak, or if it's just initial drippy drips from putting everything together for the first time. These new KYB, yeah, KYB just the gas adjust. I put those at all four corners, and it's really made a difference. So this thing, instead of having that floaty old caddy from the 1970s feel, it feels very, very planted, which I enjoy, the floaty Cadillac feel, but it's probably not the best thing for safety. What else is going on? Those so I got one of these lines from eBay, and it basically is just PTFE line shoved in there, and I can't tell if it's leaking from here. This thing's a piece of shit. I saw I always forget his name, the Motion Raceworks guy. He posts on all the boosted boards from those part, but he's come up with a solution. This actually bolts on the other side. I guess it has O-rings, which is probably a much better solution. I would get that, but I don't feel like dumping another $60 worth of transmission fluid. This thing's finally filled up, and we'll just kind of see what's going on with what we got for the time being, and see if it cleans up. It could have just been seepage and stuff from, like I said, originally putting everything together. Our drive shaft is working out, and we have lots of clearance here. I kind of modified the top of that pipe, but for some reason it was hitting. I think that we had this whole thing kind of crooked when I went and put it together last time, and that was that, if you guys follow along, that kind of like box of rocks, and the converter sound I was hearing was actually the drive shaft beating the bejesus out of the exhaust. But you know, just stupid things you got to work through. Things we do need to work through some emergency brake cables. I think that would be probably prudent. Yeah, we got to shorten the axle. I already talked about that. And I put these valves in here because that way I can clean the filters out. I think I'm going to do that now, is go through pull these filters, like I said, putting a couple tanks of gas through it, and we'll see what the E does. As far as fuel filters are concerned, originally when I was just running regular pump gas, I didn't have the pre-pump filters, and I just had like basically this guy. And when I pulled this thing apart to do everything, swapped over to the PTFE line and the dual pumps, it was disgusting, just packed full of crap. So I thought, you know, obviously it'd be a good idea to get something more robust in there, and that way hopefully catch it before it goes up into the fuel pumps and jams those guys all up. But fuel pumps, everything's working well. Or what do you call this, the flex fuel sensor, this line that we got that was supposed to be good for ethanol fuels, seems to be holding up, but hasn't swollen up or anything. But we'll just continue to keep an eye on those hoses. And that's about it for now. Lots of exciting little bits. Alright, I just want to brag on my own genius, because let's face it, it doesn't happen very often. So when it does, I like to take credit for it. Ask my wife. So we put the lock-off valve, the shut-off valves in here. Bam! And like, this is just all the fuel that I spilt, which is like next to nothing. And I'm happy with that, because this tank it's not full, but if I didn't spend the money for those little shut-off valves, everything that was in the tank would now be running out of it, you know, or I'd be, you know, obviously sticking the hose up so it wouldn't do that. But man, that made it really nice and easy. And we got our little eBay guys out, and we'll pull it apart and see what kind of gook's in there. So there's the outside. That looks pretty good. Pretty good. And you know what? The inside, there's some crap and stuff in there, but it really doesn't look all that bad. Not really bad at all. Then I wonder, oh yeah, look at that though. Ooh, I got a spider in here. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. It's like a great collection of crap. Can you guys see this? Oh. So, I can't tell if it's focusing or not. I have bad eyes. Imagine that, a welder with bad eyes. But here's some kind of spider. I guess he decided to hang out in there. So, I guess there was crap in there. And yeah, the O-ring still feels nice. So whoa, got you all zoomed up there. So yeah, I mean, that's what it's supposed to do. And that all this stuff would have ended up in the fuel pump had we not had the filter in there. So yeah, filters, they're worth it. We'll yank the O-ring out of this guy, just check it out, make sure it's still doing what it's supposed to be doing, and then I'll clean out this filter with some carburetor cleaner and reassemble it and put it back in there, and we'll grab the other one. And then we'll grab the other one. There's three. There's two pre and one post. So, oh goodness, I can't get that out. So I'll check back in with you. I'll keep you updated. Don't worry. Look Look, here's a close-up of my bench grinder. Okay. All right. Let's see what happens. Not that bad. So this is our secondary filter for our secondary pump. So it probably just doesn't see. I mean, it's not on all the time. It's rarely on, so hardly anything. That's not bad. So the last one, this is our post pump filter. So hopefully it's clean. There we go. There we go. You never know. That'll make it a little easier to clean. But oh yeah, so that's good. So fuel's coming in this side out, just like I said. I'm gonna reorient the other ones. But get you a new napkin. We'll tap on it. It looks pretty clean. Of course, the other ones kind of looked clean. Let's see. Yeah, I see. There's like a little speck there. Oops. Yeah, so there's little tiny bits, but not much, which means that you know, things are working the way they're supposed to. And our O-rings look fine, so great. I will blow this one out and reassemble it, and like I said, the fuel system's good. I'm happy with that. Bam. Bam. Okay, fuel system is all back up there and snugged in place. So these guys turn back on, and what I like to do when assembling these guys is kind of like the rule of minimal force. So you hand tighten them down until they bottom out, and you should be able to do that if you got everything lined up right, if something's not crooked. If it's crooked, like this one was kind of hard to do because it's putting a little bit of pressure on it. So what you want is, like, this guy is perfectly straight, and that went in real easy. Hand tighten it down until it stops, and then snug it. Give it like maybe like 15 foot-pounds would be a guess. And then eyeball everything to make sure it is not leaking. Start it up and then check it again. So while that's been going on, this guy has happened, and for sure it's this. You can just, I wiped all this stuff down before, so you can see it's this shitty ass fucking thing. So if I pull this out right now, it's going to stream fluid all over the place, which I don't want. So what I think I'm going to do is fire it up. It is like the fluid level is like almost exactly right here at the pan when it's running, and that's where it needs to be. So I think I'm going to fire this up and try to take this out and hope that it doesn't go shooting off all over the place. And we'll see what happens. See, when I'm not, when you're not an automatic guy, you don't know. So we're gonna learning lessons. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check that O-ring on it and see if it's a standard, maybe I have a metric that's fatter. If it's metric, maybe I have a standard that's fatter. And we'll see if we can't swap that out and jam that in there. It's got good seat pressure, so it's not like being pulled out. It's just that it's just a shitty loose fit, poor design. Probably one size fits all, so we're gonna give that a go, see what happens. So we're running, and we're not dripping or leaking, which is good. I was playing with my loud valve. You can hear like the car, and I got the loud valve right now, and I was just checking to see if it was leaking. And it is a little bit, not bad though, but when you open it up, what a difference, huh? Alright, so we'll try to fix the old tubey thing, dipstick. Yeah. Sorry about the wind noise. We're just trying to cool the engine down so we can keep going. But yeah, so these little guys were in there, and it was just I think they're metric. They weren't very, thick, so I was able to find some standard ones that were about the same size and fat as hell, and it's much snugger in there now. So hopefully that takes care of that. And then I found a leak on the oil return over here. I can't really tell where it's coming from, so I think I'm gonna pull the line, just swap the line out. Got this guy out, and it's Earl's ProLite 350. I had a bunch of this stuff laying around from old builds, and it's supposed to be really good. So it is Summit and Chinese fittings, so I thought, well, who knows, right? We put a bung in these guys, and I applied some vacuum and some pressure, and nothing. Everything was usually you can tell right away if there's a leak. I mean, especially, you know, a hose, it's obviously it's not a high pressure, just a turbo return. So that got me thinking, like, something's not right, and let's go dig around some more. And I did, and what I found was let's see, I can't see, I need glasses, but way up here is where I put a quick disconnect to feed the turbo, and the oil was coming out of there. So that is our culprit. They have little tiny O-rings in them, so I'm gonna pull the O-ring out, fish the O-ring out, and check that and see if we can replace the O-ring, and hopefully that'll be good. Those, well, you can usually tell when things have O-rings how it feels, like, you know, just by jiggling it, and like that dipstick on the transmission, and it was obviously there's no resistance there. So yeah, we'll change the O-ring. Okay, back, went and got gas. I was about to run out. So today's progress, we fixed a bunch of O-rings and leaks and drips, and sometimes that's what you got to do. What else did we do? Focus. Okay, so I adjusted the dump pipe so it's no longer coming close to the arm, which is the way I designed it. I just put it on in some weird configuration. So with V-bands, you got to twist things and turn them and all that good stuff. I tried a slightly smaller. I went the next step down. So I marked this guy right here, and that's all that stands between being unloaded, is that maybe 3/16 of an inch. So I wanted to have it a little more load. I bought the next smaller Gates belt, but it won't fit. It's impossible. I even changed this to, I have a little bit shorter idler pulley, and I couldn't get that on. I'd like to find it somewhere in the happy medium between the two. Would be perfect, because this is the same as the belt that I previously had on it, which it kind of stretched and there wasn't a whole lot of play regard. So of course, you know, I don't blame the system for it, because who knows what all accessories and parts they designed it for. However, it would be my luck that I end up in some weird in-between size and won't fit any belts. So I guess I'm gonna have to go outside the Gates catalog maybe and see if I can find something. I'm pretty sure it's a 6-rib pulley, just needs to be the right size. Yeah, so we got all the leaks and stuff fixed up. I tried to adjust the timing on it, and I couldn't get the tuner studio to work. And then I went, it was almost out of gas, so I went and put regular 93 in it, because the ethanol's a little bit away, the E85, and well, now it runs like shit again. So I don't know, like, this tune is the worst. I really need to get it to somebody that is smart and knows what they're doing and has a dyno, and that would be good. But today, lots of progress, lots of little things. Sometimes you just gotta stop and do the little things, but at least we know it's not dripping and stuff. And for some reason, I can always just throw it in auto tune and it drives fine, you know, as long as I'm not completely beaten on it. The upper areas are, it looks like I'm about 5 degrees off, but Matt shot me a note and shot me some screenshots and showed me what I was doing wrong. So I'm gonna try to adjust that and see if it makes it run just a little bit better and bring it up to, I think it's at, you know, I'll have to check it with the computer once I get going, but I think it's about 5 degrees off of where it needs to be. So it needs to be advanced 5 degrees, which would make sense with some of the stuff that it's doing. What I did was I fixed the fuel pressure regulator problem that I spoke of earlier. This cool little made in China regulator kit showed up in the mail yesterday after I got through shooting what I was going to shoot. And after I was about done with fighting with the tune on the car and trying to get the timing lined up and all that stuff. So hang on a second. I will show you. So there is a video online and it's called GM Fuel Pressure Regulator Porting, which is meow. So you can just go to that video. The guy explained it pretty well how to do this. And that's where I got the idea. And then I bought the regulator, my Amazon. So here's the kit that you can buy. It's only 17 bucks, 18 bucks. And it was like, man, it showed up so quick. I was shocked. But the gist of it is this regulator. This is a stock GM regulator that was in there. It's non-adjustable, and it is just held onto the fuel rail with this clip, and you just lift the clip off. You know, make sure that you've you know, bled your fuel pressure off, whatever you got to do beforehand, and you just pop the clip off, and then this just pulls right out of the fuel rail. Well, what you do is on the adjustable one, it has this little nipple. On the one I bought has this little nipple like the guy shows in the video, and you just drill it out. I used 1/8. I used one size smaller than a 1/8 just to kind of ream it through first time, and then I used a 1/8 and just ran it through. The guy in the video talks about using a diamond wheel to kind of clean up the bottom. What I did is I just backed the adjuster nut off the back, and when I went in there with a 1/8, it's got like a little, maybe a brass or copper plate that the tube butts up against, and that's how, you know, it works with, you know, the fuel pressure. What I did is I just backed that out and I just rammed the drill bit all the way through, and that worked fine. Blow it back out with some air. I smashed it back in the rail. Literally, it's that simple. And I just set the fuel. It has that screw. It has a screw on the end of it. Let me. Okay, so it is right now. And yeah, so it's got a little adjuster screw on it. It was so simple. Just pull this clip off, slide it out. I did take the screen out. There's a screen inside there. I just took it out and just replaced it back. There's an O-ring that goes on this guy right here, and then you just push it back in, put the clip on. It was literally that simple. And usually I can build boost just sitting here, just revving it, and you can see it kick on. Before, like I said, it used to shoot to 100 and then take a second or two to go back down to like 80 when the normal fuel pressure was like 70. So under boost, I'd be getting 70 PSI, or well, into vacuum before the fuel pump kicked on, I guess I should say, I was getting 70. And then, you know, that would happen with the regulator, and it would just kind of, which is a problem when you go to tune it, because you know, you have to account for that adjusted fuel pressure in how you're going to scale the injectors, and you're trying to get the injectors right, and it's just not going to happen, because who knows when you're going to hit the gas pedal, how long it's going to take to get down to the normal operating fuel pressure. It was basically, I was basically going to have to figure out a way to put a fuel pressure regulator into the system, you know, that's adjustable. And this was, you know, that guy did a great job in his little video, and it was just a tremendously cheap fix, and it's solid now. I punched it, and I didn't see it move, and I thought to myself, well, something's not right. I don't know, let's go take it for a ride. And I drove it around, and you can, you know, audibly hear that I'm in boost. It just kind of foot braked it to build boost, and it was just rock solid. There's a little, like, you know, fluctuation, but it's like momentary, and it's, you know, hardly noticeable. Definitely way better than what it was with the stock regulator, and super happy. So it's all the simplicity of the stock truck system is great. You know, they're proven that you can make power just fine on them. That was the issue that I was having, was returning that. Another thing that's amazing is you got to figure that this orifice right here, this little tiny tube, that was the restriction point. So that was what was restricting that. So that means that you know, I used 3/8. I want to say 3/8. Or yeah, I used 3/8 return line stainless, and it was kind of pinched a little bit in a couple places. It was difficult working with 20 feet of stainless tubing and trying to get it to bend in those couple places where I kind of, like, you could see an indentation where I was bending it, and it started to kink. I stopped it. I was kind of freaked out about, like, oh my God, it's gonna. But I mean, that's all it's returning on. It was literally less than an 8. It was less than 7/32, I think, was the bit that I originally drilled it out with. So that orifice must be 3/32. I can't get a 3/32. Oh, I can't fit a 3/32 bit in there. So that's how small that is. Like closer like 1/16 or 5/64. Yeah, so it's pretty amazing when you think about the difference that, you know, opening that little orifice up made on the car. But I'm rambling, and I do that. So that is going to be it for the weekend. I know it's only had like a day. Just been real busy with the day job, and the wife being gone. It's been beating me up trying to do everything and take care of the house and all that. I probably need to go write bills out since it's the end of the since it's the end of the month. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot done with the car, even though it was you know, one of those deals where wasn't really sure what to do or how to start, what to work on, but got lots of little leaks fixed. Got to check the fuel filters, make sure they're all good. Mess with the timing. I did figure that out. A couple of guys got back to me and told me what I needed to do to adjust the timing. I was having an issue with that with the software. And it was a little different than what was going on. But yeah, lots of little fixes done, and that's good. I feel like now that that's straightened out with the fuel regulator, I can take it to the tuners, no problem, if I can just find somebody that wants to work on it. So yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. Anyway, thanks everybody for dropping by, checking out the videos. Hope it wasn't too boring. Sorry I haven't been updating much, but haven't had much to update, so there you go.